Hello again and welcome back after this long break to our World Cup report about the Munich finals. Before we start, I want to thank all of you out there for your support, and also I want to thank the IFSC because I'm still able, thanks to them and some geo-blocking in different countries, to continue my reports here on YouTube. So thank you. Before we start, I also need to know whether you're still interested in the China World Cup finals, which I didn't do yet from the last 2 weeks with Jiang Chongqing. If you're interested, just post something below in the comments, then I will add them later. Otherwise, I will just upload the women's final next week. Also, think about the semi-final of Munich, which was really interesting, really hard for the women's, even harder than Moscow, and really interesting as well for the male category. Male category, Adam Ondra was the superb winner again of the semi-finals after he had one World Cup he missed in China, and the other one he was not really good for his standards. But he came back superb in a really good shape. He was the only competitor climbing all 4 semi-final problems. Another interesting thing about the Japanese team, they did not compete with their A team in Munich because they had the combined Japanese championships at the same weekend or maybe next weekend. So they skipped basically Munich because the other championships are more important. They still sent a really strong team, but this time not a single Japanese climber in the male final. Still a pretty strong and powerful final field. 5 out of our 6 finalists have won a World Cup before. The only one not winning a World Cup before is Anže Perhag, but we know he's really strong. He's just really good, sometimes at dropping top moves. So let's see what happens in Munich, and thank you for watching. Have fun. Let's go.
6 finalists in starting order: Alexei Rubtsov, Anže Perhag, Jakob Schubert, Jan Hojer in his second final this year, Jongwon Chon and Adam Ondra. Welcome back in this final in Munich. Okay, let's start with boulder number 1, Frutti di Burly, what I call it. We start with this powerful, hardcore Burly boulder, only set with Frutti di Bosco. Volumes made by Squadra, hence the name, and Alexei in his second try, he uses only the right side of these symmetrical volumes for his hands, a really powerful layback, and then he arrives at the first crux using this zone hold. It's kind of easy to get into it or to touch it, get the zone, but then it's hard to move into a position where you can use it as a side undercling because you're pressing and pushing always to the sides with your feet. He manages to do it, and then he goes into the shoulder and decides to go dynamic for the last move, a double flip. Come on, do what I tell you. Unfortunately, he doesn't get it in a stable position and faceplant. All good, he survived, didn't top it anymore, unfortunately. Let's take a look at Anže, who climbed to the zone but then struggled to get to the next hold. To get it, he just has to change his position, and we will take a look and compare it with Alexei. Alexei on the left side stands with his feet a little bit higher compared to Anže on the right side. The green line is supposed to point out where Alexei's feet are, and the red line where Anže's feet are. Anže arrives a little bit too low on the volume and falls down. Jakob Schubert arrived at the zone with his left foot already on the left side, which made it way harder to get to the zone with it. Both hands. He managed to do it already after 3.5 minutes. And then, as mentioned before, you can only push with your feet sideways to the left or to the right. You never apply pressure in a vertical line straight down. And unfortunately, Jakob slipped. His shoulders were not strong enough and he fell down. German local hero and winner from Munich 2017, Jan Hojer used a knee bar to get to the zone hold. Unfortunately, he got stuck. He didn't release the knee bar anymore, so he couldn't get the zone hold in a good position, and he didn't top the boulder either. Alexei has been the closest to a top, but still no top, and only one starter left to save the show and save the night. Adam Ondra in his flash go, laybacking, knee bar, that's his style. So he arrived one hold before the zone hold, released the knee bar, He stepped with his left foot further out to the left, the same way Jakob did it and tried it. Then right foot to the right, not a drop knee but a really stable position. And then he used the toe hook to pull his body to the right, getting into the shoulder position. And then the left foot higher into this crack, crossing over. Not a nice position, but who cares? Adam Ondra, boulder number 1, another flash, and the sand train can start. We'll go back and take a look at the knee bar and the difference between Adam Ondra and Jan Hojer. Adam realizes that he needs to release the knee bar. He's doing it right here. Sorry for the camera angle. So he can move on and climb to the zone hold. Jan, on the other hand, is stuck on this knee bar. He cannot release it. Comparing now Jakob and Adam. Adam goes with his left foot a little bit higher than Jakob, and he goes with his left hand also higher on the zone hold. He uses his height and his height advantage, while Jakob has to go for the lower left edge of the volume, has to switch his feet, while Adam already can step out with his right foot into a stable position. Jakob is still fighting, and Adam can easily move to the next volume thanks to this better position. Looking at the top section, Adam always tries to go a safe way or a safe better, climb it in a safe way. And even if this means getting his foot like really high, it's not as risky as the dynamic way Alexei tried to do. And as we could see, he's right. Flash and boulder number 1, the only climber climbing boulder number 1. And this is Adam Ondra like we know him. Dominant, calculating and powerful. But now let's take a look at boulder number 2, which started with a run start, then a dynamic move to the right. Didn't do the dynamic way in the first try, so Alexei went for the really flexible way and stepped higher with his left foot. Really impressive. Then another heel hook, and then that's his thing. A really tiny razor sharp crimp for the left hand, another tiny crimp for the right hand. With a heel hook on the right, he can move to the left, doesn't have any momentum, and climbs boulder number 2 in 2 tries. Basically a boulder with 3 different parts or moves. The beginning you can start running in or on the left or right, doesn't really matter because sooner or later you arrive at the jump. Everyone except for Alexei jumped, so let's take a look what you had to do to succeed and hold the jump. It's not so much about the distance, it's more about the position of your left hand, whether you catch the hold right, and when you catch it, what you do with it. Jakob and Anje need to flip their left hand to rotate it into a side pull. Anje on the right side does it a little bit too late, while Jakob hits it on the sweet spot and is able to do this in a second try. It's also about getting the right height, what we can see here right now. Jongwon on the right hand side of the screen hits the left hand hold way higher while he is already on the move downwards, thank you gravity on the left side, and doesn't get his hand into a stable position to catch and eliminate the momentum. Except for Adam Ondra, no one flashed the jump. Even Jan needed 2 tries. In his second try, he used the heel hook on the left side, did not use the heel hook on the right side. He got a little bit hasty and the momentum to the left carried him to the left and out of the wall. In his second try, we can do a comparison next to Adam Ondra. They will both top it now, while Jan kind of races and speeds through the boulder number 2. Is again not using the heel hook on the right side, killed the momentum with his right leg swinging out, then moves straight to the top hold, while Adam is still looking for a position with his right foot for the heel hook, and then moves out of this right heel hook into the jug. Adam started later than Jan, we could see this, but still flashes boulder number 2, leading the board with the only 2 tops in this competition so far. And after this quick and kind of dynamic boulder, we can see a slab. Boulder number 3, my favorite boulder of the competition, maybe boulder number 4. Don't want to spoil it. Anyway, traverse to the left on big new quadra slopers and then 1 jump to the top. The traverse to the left, if you went with your hand first, you usually mostly fell down. So Alexei in his second try with the left foot first, and then he's crimping this hold, which is basically nothing. Thank you again for showing off your crimpy fingernail skills. These must be really durable, made out of steel. The hip really flexible though to the left. And Alexei, I think he's still cramping, maybe with his thumb now underneath it. Foot swap, left foot a little bit higher, and now the upper panel of the wall is overhanging, so you have to jump all out and hit it. If you don't hit it like in your first try, you need to do it all again, like Alexei here in his third try. It seemed safe and easier to go with two hands at the same time to the top, but Andrzej Perhak, I'm so sorry, dude. He dropped again the last move many times in a row. The only competitor able to hold it with one hand was Jakob Schubert. He's just so strong, but not really flexible. Let's take a look here. Alexei is way more flexible than Jakob. He can go way lower with his hip. He leans further to the left, uses the zone hold, while Jakob released his right foot already. Now he needs to use the right thumb to get higher again, while Alexei on the right hand side is already in a stable position to execute the jump to the top. This is footage of Alexei's second try, so he jumps and fails, while Jakob is still struggling with the position. Anyway, it's a slab, so he has some time. I speeded this one up, and then he moved only with one hand. He's incredibly strong, and if he jumps to a crimp like this, he doesn't let go. So top for Jakob Schubert in boulder number 3, a slab. Usually not his favorite style of climbing. The same goes for Jan Hojer, who did not get the zone hold and didn't get the top. As I said before, the upper panel was a little bit overhanging and made it harder the taller you are to lean over to the left. On the other hand, hip flexibility was really helpful and useful, and we know Adam is not only tall, he's also really flexible. And in his first try, now matching hands slowly, now going low, flexible hip. He said it many times in interviews, stretching every day helps. Thank God this Scratra hold has an undercling as well, which he was able to use when he popped with his right hand. Still his first go, the flash go, in a stable position now, swapping feet. And Adam Ondra, it was exciting and it was intense, suspense. Will he do it? And he managed to pull it off. Boulder number 3, flash number 3, and he's just unbeatable. 3 tops for Adam, 2 for Jakob, 2 for Alexei, then followed by Andrzej, Jan and Jongwon. Jongwon was sick and ill, so he didn't perform on his highest level. I hope he gets well soon and recovers until well, because Adam Ondra needs some challenges. Boulder number 4 was a challenge. It didn't look like it on first sight, but then when I saw Alexei struggle get from these new lapis volumes to the left to the new blue pill fiberglass volumes, we all knew this is an end boss. He tried many things but couldn't top it, so we were able to see Andrzej in his first try. He put a heel hook down on the first volume, just the friction, then a bicycle, a toe hook on the other volume, able to match, release toe hook and jump to the left. First one sticking the move, which looked like a big gap between these two loophole volumes, and then he kind of got a little bit stuck. He placed his heel on the right blue pill and tried to rock over. Unfortunately, he was sitting a little bit too low. We will take a look at this later, but he's fighting really hard but cannot reach this hold. And again, he fell again on the last move. Here we can see in a detailed close-up how he tried it in his first move with the right heel. In his second try, the right heel didn't stuck, so he cut loose, was still able to hold on and match the first big volume. Then he decided to try it another way. He swung his feet to the left and tried to mantle, to push himself up. He skipped one of the holds, went straight for the hold on the lip, got it in a stable position, and then right foot higher, just the top move, just one more move, and we all know how it goes if Andrzej is prepared to do the last move. Many times he sticks it, but a lot of times he misses it. I'm so sorry, it's really devastating to see him always fail on the last move, but it's also really helpful to analyze these movements. And now we will take a look at Jakob and try to analyze later how he tries to solve the move to the left. He stands on his left foot, uses the right foot as a pendulum, as a ninja kick, swing with his body axis rotating to the left. And now we will compare Jakob in his third try and Andrzej in his, I don't know, whatever try it is. Doesn't really matter. All what matters is the hip and their body position. Jakob uses the tip of his right foot to stand on this volume. His hip is a little bit further outside and he can move around the lip, while Andrzej is sitting on his right heel. His left leg is further behind, kind of stuck behind the volume, and he cannot really reach further to the right. His left shoulder is in a really awkward position. He's trying to readjust his position, but his hip is just sinking lower and lower, so he loses height and cannot reach the last hold. Jakob, on the other hand, finished Boulder 4 in 3 tries and secured at least the second position. In fact, he's leading because Adam didn't climb yet and didn't secure a zone or a top yet. Next, Jan Hojer, and we were able to witness a flash for Boulder number 4. Awesome performance of Jan, who simply crushed this dyno, and after the dyno we can compare his top section to Andrzej's top section. Both use a heel on the left zone hold, while Jan is sinking down and uses the right hand hold just as a big jug and the heel hook to pull him to the left and higher. Andrzej rocks over with his hip on the left. His hip is stuck again and he only gains the height with pushing powerful and exhausting down with his right hand. Kind of a mental. Then I have to speed up Andrzej while Jan just stays in the heel hook and releases out of the heel hook to the top hold. Andrzej, on the other hand, making things more complicated than they need to be, raised his right foot and dropped again the last move to the top hold. Coming in, Adam Ondra, and it seems like Adam, Jakob and Jan all spoke to each other because he tried the dynamic method as well. Try number 2 missing. Jakob needed 3 tries, so we expected sooner or later Adam to stick it. Third try, still not a sand, only 1 minute left. Fourth try, not a sand, not a zone for Adam Ondra. And then in his last try, he tried something different, which means 4 tries, the dyno, then feet forward, only 10 seconds to go. Not a zone for Adam Ondra. No time left, and he immediately knew, goddamn, I lost it. I dropped my win in Munich in my last boulder again, Moscow all over again. Let's analyze this deciding move of the competition. Jakob stands with his left foot almost underneath his left hand, while Adam starts the rotation and the move way further to the right. He also has his left arm straight and stretched, while Jakob's left arm is pulling, which gives him more height and more speed and more stability, especially because his axis, his body, his right hip is kind of rotating from the right to the left, kicking up the right foot and then continue pulling. Jakob's hip and body is higher on the whole way to the left. Okay, let's go back and let's take a look at it again. It's really complicated. First we look at the feet, while Adam is already cutting loose and his feet are flying through the air. Jakob's foot is still further to the left, still pushing, giving him more control. We can clearly see the positive results of Jakob's decision in the height of his hip, and also when we take a look at his right arm, which is still bent, his hip is way higher and he's still on the same level flying to the left, while Adam is already on the way down with his whole body. This one is Adam's best try. His left foot is way further to the left, but he's still making some minor mistakes. For example, his left arm is still not bent, so the rotation starts way further to the right, means a little bit more momentum. He also doesn't use his left hand to pull and push him further to the left. His right arm is still straight, while Jakob uses his whole left arm as a help to gain height also with the right arm, and his hip, as mentioned before, is way higher. I stopped here again to show a little bit of the rotation of your body axis. We take a look at the upper body. Jakob looks into the wall. He rotated his upper body, so he's jumping parallel to the wall to the left, while Adam is still facing with his body to the right, just his head as a guidance to the left, and he tries to swing underneath his right hand and then use the swing as a pendulum to jump to the left, while Jakob can still push and aim for the left hold. Okay, I think we've seen enough of this amazing, really difficult, hard move. I think they all underestimated a little bit this move. That's what Jakob said after they took a look at the boulder. Doesn't really matter. Superb climbing by Jakob Schubert, who won just with one zone hold more than Adam. And we've seen again, the only weakness Adam Ondra has is or maybe timing moves when it comes to dynamic stuff. He's still superb on a slab, on powerful stuff. Usually he's the best at analyzing in one boulder problem whether he should continue this way or the other. Didn't work out here, didn't work out in Moscow, unfortunately, but he's still my favorite behind Timur, I have to say. So I'm kind of looking forward to next weekend in Wales, where they will both be competing.
And for everyone who is still watching, thank you so much. Stay climb, keep parkour, and look forward to Wales and even to the Lead World Cups, because Toby and we will try to make Lead World Cup final reports as well. So let's see how this goes. See you soon in Munich, women category, next week sometimes. Bye bye.